Hello and welcome to Trial TV Live. I am the Squeegee of Justice with my sidekick, Superball, as she licks herself. Right there. My trusty sidekick, Superball. How are you guys doing? Welcome to California versus Monica Sementilli. Oh, there's my sidekick. Welcome to California versus Monica Sementilli. This is day 11. This is morning ketchup. Not mustard, but ketchup. We wanted to stream the entire day. I think this was last Friday, but the feed was only going I could only go back like a half hour at a time. So by the time we actually started to stream it, it was already the afternoon break. So, so we're going to, just so we have this as a whole entity, if somebody wants to watch it in the future, they can. So, let me pull up one thing. Okay, this is all from our last trial. So let me do one thing for you guys. This is my Valentine's gift to you guys. This is Rachel B's dog named Dexter. Not that. There he is. This is my Valentine's Day gift to you guys. There is Rachel B, who is one of our moderators. That is her dog, Dexter. So, hola, good morning to you. Good evening, afternoon. You found your socks. You found that missing sock. Awesome. Rachel B, yay. Oh, is Dwayne with us? Where's Dwayne? Let me go through. Oh, there you are, Dwayne. Good to see you, buddy. How are you? Let me start at the top. OnlyFan, hello, hello. Julie BME, Lily Wayne, good to see you. Brett, thank you for coming on over. Pammy. Let's see. Am I on the right thing here? No. Let me get on the right thing. Lily Wayne, Trial Junkies United. Hola. Therapist you know. Hellcat. Hello, hello. Trial Junkies United. Superball has to clean up after her meals. Dreama Landry, Superball. Therapist you know says hello to you. Hello. Hello. Gina Farley, hello to you. Thank you guys for joining us. Cajun Bayou Queen, good to see you. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate you guys coming over. Showing me his teeth. He's like, murr, murr. Oh, excuse me, I gotta let this little man out. All right, dude, come on. You wanna go out? Out you go. All right. Shirley Roth, hello. Was just watching a hip replacement surgery. Cute doggo. Small wins, Squeegee. Small wins. I hear you on that. Teeth. Drunky the bear. Oh my God, that dog is the cutest. That's Rachel B's dog. That's Dexter. And Rachel, is he named after Dexter, the show? Is that who he's named after? All right, so we are going to continue on forward with Monica Sementilli. Monica Sementilli. Aw, Rachel B. He's actually such an old soul, a grumpy old baby. He's only 4 years old. He is named after the show. Nice. Cool. All right, so there you go. That is my Valentine's Day gift to you guys, to the chat, who requested Dexter, your moment of dog. Your moment of dog. Yes, let's not make this a precedent, guys. Let's not make that a precedent. Okay, let us move on to Monica, shall we? Let's move on to Monica. This is so this is day 11, the morning. We saw the afternoon session. This is the morning session.
Session. We spoke because now we have the jury reconstituted.
Good morning, Ms. Sementilli. When we left off, you were going to review your text communications with Monica after the date that Fabio was killed until January to June when Monica was arrested. Did you have an opportunity to do that?
I did my best, yes.
Okay. And as we discussed, there were hundreds of texts between you two?
Yes.
And I had asked you yesterday whether Monica ever sent you in all those hundreds of texts, whether she ever sent you any text where she complained about collecting insurance money or insurance. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. And did reviewing those texts between the two of you refresh your recollection as to whether Monica ever sent you any texts like that?
Yes, I found 6 pages.
Okay.
That make reference to financial woes, and as well as I'd like to add that my correspondence with Monica were not just by text. I spent a lot of time there.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Your Honor, I'd object. It's non-responsive.
It is non-responsive. Sustained.
Thank you. If we could move to have stricken. Thank you.
Starting with, if I may add, is stricken.
Thank you. Ms. Sementilli, when you say there were 6 texts, what
6 pages.
6 pages. What you're referring to are is a text string where you initiated a text to Monica on May 24th, asking her if she'd be okay with Marco, your common law husband, writing a letter for her to send. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you initiated that text on May 24th, correct?
In response to our discussions.
Okay. But you weren't responding to any text discussions, correct?
That's not the only means of communication I had with Monica.
Okay. But you sent Monica a text on May 24th, did you not, where you said that if you're okay with this, referring to Marco, he's going to have his lawyer draft a letter regarding the fact that you are under financial duress. And then he's going to email it to you, and then you own it, at which point you send it to the insurance company and to the police captain department. Put them on notice, and then you'll see what happens. You wrote that text, correct?
I wrote that text.
Okay. Your Honor, if we may mark as Exhibit 608 a 3-page text string between Morella at 416 and Monica at 818-424. And you initiated that text on May 24th, correct?
Yes.
At 8:12 p.m.?
Yes.
Okay. And then you followed that text with another text on page 2 of Exhibit 608, where you told Monica, Marco said, don't waste your breath anymore. Send everything in an email. Create a paper trail. Did you write that to her?
Yes, in response to her financial woes.
And she responded, LOL, just got detective and captain email address today. I said I forget and get confused, and I want all info through email. I told him we were going to be homeless, and he said a few more weeks. But yes, please send me anything I can use. She said that to you, correct?
Correct, and this is the conversation with her financial woes.
I'm sorry. I just asked you if
I'd like to answer the question.
Well, my question was, did she send that to you?
Yes.
Thank you. And you then sent her the following text. Okay, send him information such as insurance information, any names you might have at the insurance company, phone numbers or address, detective's name, precinct, or address of police station, phone number and names, and of course all their email addresses via email to marco@rosewatergroup.com. If it's faster, you could take pictures of letter heads and send pic to 416-918. Wants to help you with this. You sent that text, correct?
Yes.
And Monica responds on page 3 of 608, okay, I'll send what info I have tomorrow, but I want to see it before it is sent to anyone. Did she tell you that in the text?
In a text message, yes.
Okay. And then you responded to her, Ms. Sementilli, at 8:39, as I said in the first email, he is going to email you the letter. We need the info to properly compose the letter, but we are not sending it to anyone. He wants to send you an effectively written letter that you will have to own it from you to them. You said that, correct?
Correct.
And Monica had sent you other text messages throughout this same period, updating you and telling you about her frustrations with the investigation having to do with finding the killers, correct?
Correct.
And she communicated those conversations through text as well, correct?
Not specifically finding the killers, giving her information. She was looking for information.
Information about the investigation?
Exactly.
Okay. And information about what the progress had been on solving the case?
And what was holding up the letter?
She texted you about something about holding up a letter?
Yes, the letter releasing her as a suspect.
And where was that text? You have that text?
Not in those exact words, but
Okay.
there is a text where she said she's going to start from the detective Parshall all the way up to the mayor
Okay.
to get answers.
But that's about solving the case, correct?
No, that's about getting answers.
Okay. Your Honor, if we may mark as Exhibit 609, a one-page text from Cellulite Extraction dated 5/16/17. And showing you these texts. Ms. Sementilli, am I correct that Monica sent you a text on 5/16/17 at 2:03, letting you know that detectives from Knock Knock Burglary Task Force coming to see me Thursday at 11 a.m. Exclamation point. They may have some pics and also maps to show me other homes hid in the area and what routes Fabio takes home usually. Did she send you that text?
Yes.
And did she follow that with a text that same day at 1:48 telling you, I was so angry Monday morning on phone with detective. Told him I'm coming to station with a news crew if I have to and work my way up the chain. His captain, captain's boss, all the way to the mayor if I have to. This is fucking ridiculous. No answers. His captain called me and said they will be there Thursday but can't discuss investigation. They say they will solve this, but don't give me anything. Did she tell you that?
Yes.
And that's nothing about getting any letter, correct?
As I said, our communication was in many forms, not just text messaging.
Ms. Sementilli, you testified earlier about Monica being late for an appointment one day because she was at a car dealership buying a brand new Fiat, I believe you testified, and saying that she'd gotten a great deal. Do you recall that testimony?
Yes.
Okay. But you were aware at that time, were you not, that your niece Bella had been in a traffic accident where she had totaled her Fiat? Were you not?
Yes.
Okay. And this was in May of 2017, correct?
Yes.
And you were aware that the car was insured and that they were replacing the Fiat, correct?
I wasn't sure who was replacing it. All I knew is that she went and got her a new car.
Okay. But you were aware she wasn't buying a new car, the insurance company, she was replacing Bella's Fiat with a replacement Fiat, correct?
I didn't know the details.
Ms. Sementilli, you also testified about this situation with Fabio's ashes in Canada in a family crypt. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. And I think you said Fabio would have wanted to be buried in Canada, would wanted to be up there, correct?
I think he always wanted to come home alive, but I'm not sure about buried. I never talked about it with him.
I thought you testified that he would have wanted to be home.
He wanted to be coming home, yes.
Okay. And you had earlier testified there was this situation where you were present when Luigi and Jessica and Bella consented to having him cremated, correct?
Correct.
And now, Monica never cremated him in Los Angeles, correct?
Correct.
In fact, there was a full autopsy of Fabio after he died, correct?
Sustained.
Were you aware that there had been an autopsy of Fabio?
Sustained.
Was it your understanding that Fabio had been autopsied?
Sustained.
Ms. Sementilli, Monica brought Fabio's body back to Canada, correct?
Yes.
And there were services for him up there. There was a viewing before he was cremated, correct?
Yes.
And then he was cremated, and you all, you visited the crypt where he was kept?
All the time.
Yes. And Monica visited the cemetery as well?
Not that I know of.
You weren't with her when you visited the remains with him?
When we laid his remains, she was there.
And am I correct that you have never requested that his remains at any time be moved, correct?
I can't do that.
You can't request it?
No. I'm not the signee or the next of kin, and it's her name, and unless she makes that change, he will be there permanently.
Have you ever made any effort to contact Jessica or Bella, his daughters, his next of kin, about moving his body?
I will eventually, yes.
You
after
will
the trial,
eventually?
yes.
Okay. But you were aware that only 4.5 months after Fabio was killed, Monica was arrested, correct?
Yes.
And she hasn't been in Canada for 7.5 years, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you have remained close with your nieces, Bella and Jessica?
No.
You have come down and visited them?
No.
Is there any reason not?
It breaks my heart to have to say this, but they were very disrespectful. They were unfortunately asked to not communicate with us with regards to anything about my brother.
Objection calls for hearsay speculation.
Sustained on the second ground.
I had asked for some property of my brother's for my mom. My mom was asking about some things she wanted, that she didn't have anything to remember her son by. And they replied to me so many rude times, saying that it belongs to their mother and that not sending anything to my mother. And I tried to reach out. There was just so many times where they never replied to me. They didn't welcome me. I came to pre-trials. They didn't want to see me. And their grandmother and aunt were there all the time, right after the arrest. So I had a very hard time getting through or getting to visit them.
When did you ever reach out and try to see them when you were down here?
Early part of the arrest.
And did you do that by phone or email or text?
Probably text or phone, yes, or through their aunt, or through Deborah Obad.
And-
I tried everything I could in my power before I got the message that they don't want to see me.
And you have those messages?
No, I probably don't have them. They might have erased it, so I don't have stuff like that.
Well, they couldn't erase messages from your phone, correct?
I don't have the messages.
And isn't it a fact, Ms. Sementilli, that you have sent derogatory and inappropriate texts repeatedly to both Jess and Bella about their mother?
It is.
Let me be specific. Isn't it true, Ms. Sementilli, that you sent Jessica Sementilli a text where you referred to her as a bitch and a cunt?
No.
No further questions.
Redirect.
Ms. Sementilli, when you tried to help the defendant by having Marco write a letter for her to use if she wished, at that
Argument?
I don't know.
at that when you sent when you agreed to assist the defendant by having Marco draft a letter for her to use.
This states the evidence.
Again, counsel, I will hear the entire question.
As she wished, did you have any idea at that time that she had been having an affair with Robert Baker?
No.
Would it be fair to say that you were fooled by the defendant?
Relevant argument.
Sustained.
You also you were asked yesterday about the defendant's family initially not liking Fabio at the beginning. Would it be fair to say that they certainly wouldn't approve of Robert Baker?
Yes.
Objection. Argument. Speculation.
Untimely.
Had you and Antonio Quinteri met with Fabio on many prior occasions prior to that last time that you came to Los Angeles?
Yes, correct.
You were asked about whether or not the defendant wanted to move, and you said eventually she did want to move, but not at the beginning. When the defendant eventually told you that she wanted to move and you went looking at a house with her, did she tell you why she wanted to move at that point in time?
Objection. Relevant.
It's overruled.
She wanted to move because she was looking for a smaller home that was less money.
Did she ever ask you to look with her at homes back in the Toronto area?
No, never.
When you went through the hundreds of text messages that defense counsel asked you to look at, Did you find text messages regarding the defendant's meetings that she had with estate lawyers that she texted you about?
Objection, relevance.
It's overruled.
Yes.
And did she also send you text messages about how much paperwork she had to fill out in order to collect the life insurance?
Objection. This states the evidence.
It's overruled.
Yes, it was on the text messages.
The text messages where yesterday it was represented that none of them had anything to do with money, correct?
Correct, yeah.
You know, on the first page, and again, we don't know what came before this. I don't know if it was a conversation or another text. Is this a message from Monica asking you to send her contact information for someone?
Yes.
Do you recall who that was for?
What date was that?
This date is 5/24.
It may have been the Canadian Hairdresser magazine.
Coordinator?
Yes.
For the award
Yes.
ceremony?
Yes.
And with respect to the text message that was pointed out to you by defense counsel from you to the defendant, where you said, and then you own it. What does that mean?
Every time we had a discussion, I just wanted to tell her that Marco would help draft it, and then she would own it, meaning she could do with it whatever she wanted to before she sent it off.
Okay. In other words, she could make edits.
Yes.
She could send it. She could not send it.
Exactly.
Objection, reading.
I will allow it.
And this is with respect to your telling her that she can send it to the insurance company, to the police department, in order to put them on notice and see what happens.
Correct, because she was always telling us constantly that it was a problem for her. That
Excuse me, sustained.
And was this in response to statements made by the defendant where she was telling you that she was having a problem obtaining the life insurance proceeds because law enforcement hadn't cleared her?
correct.
And on the following page, there's a 114 at the bottom of the page. Does this appear to be a text from Monica to you?
Yes.
LOL, what does that mean?
Laugh out loud.
Just got detective and captain email address today. I said I forget and get confused. And I want all info through email.
Objection, this has been asked and answered.
Not on cross.
It's the same email. It was introduced.
I'm gonna allow this.
And here, did she indicate to you that basically she's lying to law enforcement and telling them
Argument.
I don't know. I'll fix that.
she forgot and gets confused, and that's why she wants it all sent through her email?
Still rule.
Correct.
And then, just as you stated earlier, the defendant says, I told him we're going to be homeless.
Yes, she told us that many times.
And then in the last line, she says, yes, please send me anything I can use. Correct?
Correct.
And then on the last page where the bottom says 115, after you sent the whatever text you had back and forth, is this a text message from the defendant to you?
Correct.
That will be a big help. I will text him pictures of the information. Thank you.
Yes.
So in other words, she's going to send pictures of the information that you and she discussed so that Marco could assist her in drafting a letter.
Correct.
Please make comments. And then on Exhibit 609,
Yes.
once again, is this a message from the defendant to you, detectives from Knock Knock Burglary Task Force, coming to see me Thursday at 11 a.m. exclamation point?
Yes.
They might have some pics and maps
Yes.
to show me other homes in the area and what routes Fabio takes home usually.
Yes, she did.
And beneath that, did she tell you, is this an email or a text message from her to you on, looks like, I think it's May 15th.
I see 16.
May 16th.
Yes.
I was so angry Monday morning on phone with the detective, told him I'm coming into station with a news crew if I have to.
Yes.
And she's talking about how the detectives won't provide her information regarding what evidence they have, and that, in her words, it's fucking ridiculous.
Correct.
Objection, Ms. Stacey.
Sure.
It says it right here. This is fucking ridiculous, correct?
Correct.
What she's referring to, Your Honor.
So rule.
And that they can't discuss the investigation. Correct?
Yes.
So, you, at this point in time, were trying to assist your sister-in-law and your nieces in obtaining Fabio's life insurance money.
Correct.
And you believed at that point in time her stories that she might wind up being homeless.
Objection, speculation, argument,
It goes to her state of mind on why she's assisting.
irrelevant.
Just stand on those grounds.
You agreed to assist her because you believed her stories. Is that correct?
Same objection, Your Honor.
No, I'm going to allow that.
Correct.
And in terms of who brought Fabio's back to Canada, that was something Wella did, correct?
Correct.
I have nothing further.
Anything on recross?
Yes, thank you. Showing you what will be marked as defense.
I'm sorry. Nothing will be
I'm
marked.
sorry, Your Honor. May I mark, if the court pleases, Defense Exhibit 610, which is a text sent on February 13, 2017 from Monica to Mela.
Yes.
Ma'am, you testified earlier that I believe Monica had previously referenced filling out paperwork to specifically paperwork to collect insurance proceeds. Did you say that?
Paperwork.
Well, Ms. Silverman specifically said in order to get insurance, about insurance proceeds, correct?
Can you elaborate on that question? When did I say that, and where?
Just a few minutes ago, Ms. Silverman talked to you about previous texts that reference paperwork specifically related to insurance money.
Discussions, not texts.
Okay.
She had discussions and many means of communication with me.
Okay. So this is a text
Just a moment.
that is the only reference to paperwork between you two.
Counsel is testifying.
That last part is testimony.
Okay. This is a text between you and Monica about paperwork, correct?
Correct.
And this text says, thank you, don't know dates for New York yet. Bella will work on that to see when orientations are. Anna is here till Sunday. Now, the first part of the text, Monica's talking to you about coming to New York for your daughter's graduation from medical school, correct? And she, in fact, did come to New York for your daughter's graduation from medical school, correct?
She did, yes.
And the text goes on, I'm meeting with the estate lawyer Thursday, and from there I should know when I'm coming back, probably week after, for a few days. So no need to come here till after I get back, anytime you like or can. That's about you coming back to visit at some time later?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And she says, so much paperwork. Still feels like he's just away for work. Love you guys, bound forever, correct?
Yes.
There's nowhere in that text where she talks about paperwork for life insurance proceeds, correct?
Not specifically, no.
And finally, Ms. Silverman pointed out one of Monica's texts to you about her frustrations with the investigation. Do you recall that?
Counsel, the record you have what on the projector?
609?
Thank you.
Yes.
But am I right? She's talking to you about the criminal investigation, correct?
In this text message, yes.
And nowhere in there is she talking about any letter for life insurance, correct?
Not in this text message.
And in fact, she tells you in this text message that the detectives are representing to her that they are going to solve the case.
Yes.
And not a word about life insurance, correct?
Not in this text message.
Nothing.
Anyone further?
Yes.
Just prior the portion you were shown on 610, on February 13th, 12:45 p.m., is this a message that you sent to Monica?
Yes, it is.
And in this message, you're basically telling her, hi, honey, please know we love you, wish we could be with you and the girls. Let me know if you want company and you can come from Saturday to Wednesday to visit.
Correct.
And also telling her about the graduation in New York for Vanessa's medical school.
Correct. It was a date error. It's June 10, sorry, not January 10.
I'm referring, sorry, to the date of the message, which is February 13th.
Correct.
Of 2017.
Correct.
That comes right before the defendant's response on that same date, correct?
Yes, I was making reference to the body of the text message. I had my daughter's convocation date wrong. That's all I just yeah. It was June 10.
Right, that happened the week before the defendant came to Toronto for the Mirror Awards.
It was the same weekend.
The Lifetime Achievement Awards.
Yes.
And when the defendant made mention of in 609, with respect to her conversations with the detectives, had the defendant told you and Marco on numerous occasions that in order to receive the life insurance, law enforcement first had to clear her?
Correct.
And send a letter.
Lois.
Yes, correct.
So therefore, their criminal investigation was inextricably linked to her being able to get the letter for clearance, correct?
Sustained.
Didn't the defendant tell you that they had to clear her in their investigation in order for her to be able to receive money?
Correct, yes.
And when she talked about the estate lawyer, that again was her talking about acquiring money from Fabio's.
Sustained.
When she talked about the estate lawyer, did that have to do, according to her conversations with you, about acquiring money from Fabio's estate?
Speculation.
Sustained.
Did the defendant tell you that that's what the estate lawyer was for, to acquire money from Fabio's estate?
Yes, as well as she had mentioned she was going to go to a state lawyer to make sure that Wella wasn't screwing her. So I'm figuring it was about money all the time, yes.
I have nothing.
Anything further?
Ms. Sementilli, you understood that estate lawyers were involved because Fabio didn't have a will and his estate was in probate, correct?
No, I had no idea.
Ms. Sementilli, you communicated frequently with Luigi and the estate lawyers representing the estate throughout the summer of 2017, correct?
Luigi didn't explain a lot to us. We had no idea about the estate lawyer Luigi had. Is that what you're referring to?
No, the lawyers that were representing the estate.
No, I have no idea what happened there.
You have no idea that there were estate lawyers representing the estate in probate.
Objection. Facts on names.
Sustained.
Isn't it true, Ms. Sementilli, that you communicated frequently about the estate, Fabio's estate, and lawyers being involved because the estate was in probate?
Objection vague.
Overruled.
No.
Isn't it also a fact, Ms. Sementilli, that you communicated frequently with Luigi about filing a lawsuit against Monica for money?
Well, I'm going to object that it seems facts on evidence.
So
It's also irrelevant and calls for hearsay.
So ruled on all grounds.
Can you repeat the question?
Isn't it a fact, Ms. Sementilli, that you communicated with Luigi Sementilli about wanting to file a lawsuit for money against Monica Sementilli?
I had discussions with Luigi because this is what he wanted to do.
Anything further by the people?
Was that for a wrongful death loss?
Correct, yes.
Anything further? No, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Sementilli. You are excused. You may call the next witness.
Call Abdul Sean Khan.
Good morning. If you could please face me and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly state the testimony you may give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Thank you.
Thank you. Please have a seat and please stand. Adjust the microphone so we can hear you, and for the record, say and spell your first and last name, please.
Sean Khan, SHAWN KHAN.
You may proceed.
Good morning, Mr. Khan.
Good morning.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a security camera integration or installation company.
Do you own a company?
I do.
And what is that company?
First Digital Surveillance.
So what is your background and experience within your company? Explain a little bit what you do.
Okay, so I started out like an installer, and I still do installations. I do sales, pretty much A to Z, everything.
When you say installation and sales of what specifically?
So for example, let's say if a customer calls, I will return the call most of the time myself, unless somebody from the office returns the call. I would do a follow-up with them, do a site visit, assess their situation, what they're looking for, and then provide the estimate once they move forward. Most likely, 90% of the time, I will go for the installation with my techs.
And are you talking about then security cameras, the kind that are fixed to buildings or residences to monitor security coming and going in those buildings?
That is correct.
Okay. What is your background in IT?
So I went to school I have a bachelor's in information systems, and then I got into security cameras, pretty much just self-taught myself.
Why did you get into that?
My older brother, I was helping him with security cameras in the beginning, and IT played a big role initially when we were using computers as DVRs back in the days. And then I decided just to move in this business.
When did you start working in IT, specifically with surveillance cameras, things of that nature, servicing customers?
2007. 2007.
And is that when you started your business?
That is correct.
Okay. So going back to the years of 2017, were you contacted to install, or let's start with first give an estimate about security cameras at a residence that's at 5012 Queen Victoria Road in Woodland Hills?
Yes.
What was that, the Sementilli residence?
That is correct.
Okay. Can you recall how that contact was initiated?
So I believe it was a Sunday that I got an email somewhere around like midday time from Mr. Fabio Sementilli.
Your Honor, may I mark a 6-page document, a series of emails. It's the title is from Fabio Sementilli, and the 2 is info@CC the installation. Is that correct?
CCTV installation dash Los
My
Angeles.
eyes aren't seeing that. CCTV installation,
That'll be 128.
and there's 6 pages. Show me the first page then. Do you recognize that email?
That is correct.
Okay, so the 2, the info@CCTV installation-losangeles.com, is that your business?
That is correct.
Okay. And it came from a Fabio Sementilli, and then do you know who this Calmati-Mo at Hotmail is?
Yes,
Who's that?
that's for Monica Sementilli.
Okay. The email speaks for itself, but what were you asked?
Basically, just inquiring about our services and just I guess talking about what they have and what they would like to improve.
Okay. Turning to page 2, a continuation of the email then?
That is
Is that
correct.
you that answered?
That is correct.
And you're asking if you're available Monday. What did you want to do on Monday?
Site visit.
So far, is this normal? Somebody contacts you and then you set up a visit?
That is correct.
What's the visit for?
Evaluation to see what they have, what they're looking to accomplish.
And then is that something that you go out and do?
99.9% I do, yes.
In this particular instance, did you end up going to the Sementilli residence?
Yes.
Turning to page 3, continuation of the email chain. Again, is that from Fabio to you with Monica Sementilli CC'd on it?
Yes.
Okay, so you decided on, or Fabio's telling you Wednesday would be a good day, is that right?
That is correct.
And then turning to page 4 is just a continuation of the email. Page 5. Again, a message from Fabio to you, and this is all on the same day, Sunday, June 19th, 2016, correct?
That is correct.
And Fabio provides their address at the Sementilli residence.
Yes.
Okay. And finally, and there's a continuation on page 6. There's a can we meet at approximately 11, and that was confirmed then?
Yes.
Okay. So then on that Wednesday, did you end up, that would be a couple days after Sunday, a couple days later, did you go to the Sementilli residence?
Yes.
What's been previously marked as People's 9, do you recognize that residence?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Is that where you went to look at their, or do your estimate and look at their equipment?
Yes.
Hey, explain what you did when you got there.
So I believe initially I met with Miss Monica, and I usually when I get on site, I want to look at the equipment that they have, if it's existing setup. If it's new, then I just start with my own routine. And I believe during the initial phase, we got on the phone with Fabio, and he kind of expressed what he was looking to do. Pretty much the same thing in the email.
What did you? I'm sorry.
No worries. Pretty much whatever that he mentioned in the email. And of course, when I get to see their equipment, their monitor, I make recommendations that, hey, this is what I recommend you do. The cameras are not looking good at daytime. They're probably worse at night. And I believe they wanted to add another camera for the front door.
Okay. So backing up, and when you got to this resident, you met with, you said Miss Monica.
Monica Sementilli, yes.
Do you see her report?
Yes, I do.
Can you please identify where she's sitting and what she's wearing?
She's sitting right there and wearing white, I think, or beige.
When you met with her, was there anybody else present with you?
No, just myself.
And as you indicated, Fabio was not there.
He was not there.
Did you see any daughters or girls, young teens there?
No.
Where did you first meet the defendant? You call Miss Monica.
I think we just met at the driveway first.
Okay.
And then I think she had the garage open already, I believe. And then we got on the phone I think she put them on a speakerphone or something like that.
Did you go in the garage?
Yes.
Why did you go in the garage?
I believe that's where the equipment was.
Okay, Exhibit 7, which has been previously marked, do you recognize the photographs here?
Yes.
And was this an area that you were directed to by the defendant?
That is correct.
And where specifically?
In the garage, towards the door leading to the inside of the house.
Right, right over here on the right photograph?
That is correct.
Okay. And what were you directed to?
To look at their existing equipment, the DVR that they have there, and then the monitor that they had in the kitchen. I think it was like an older monitor, not working, I'm not sure.
When you were in that garage that day on that Wednesday, where was the DVR?
In the garage above this, the cabinet.
This white cabinet right
White
here?
cabinet, exactly.
Up top?
Exactly, where you see all the wires.
Okay. You see the wires, but when the defendant walked you into the garage, did she show you that DVR box?
I believe she did. It was an
Okay.
older box.
It was an older box?
Yeah, which is pretty typical. When I go in, people have older boxes, older monitors. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't.
Okay. And then you also mentioned you went inside and saw a monitor, is that correct?
Yeah, in the kitchen. I don't recall exactly. Was it behind this wall? But yes.
Your name, Mark, is photograph 128, a photograph of a monitor.
Be 129.
That photograph right there, do you recognize that area?
Yes, I do.
Now, there's a monitor there. Is that the monitor, the area where you were directed?
Yes.
Did you end up, you're out surveilling now to do an estimate, did you end up replacing the monitor?
Yes, I replaced this monitor right here.
Okay, so when you got there, it was a different monitor?
I believe so.
Now, this wall right here behind it, does that back up to the garage where the DVR was?
That's what it seems like, because to extend the monitor, if it's a new install or replacement, sometimes you have to run a cable. So I believe that's what it seems like. It was behind that garage wall. It was
Okay.
pretty short run.
All right, so now that you've got there, you've seen where the DVR, and this is the old DVR box, correct?
In the garage, yes.
In the garage. You
Yes.
replaced that as well, ultimately?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. So right now you're just at estimate point of view walking around. Where else did you go?
I think once we looked at the monitor, got a view of the angles, we walked around the house and looked at where all the cameras were, the type of cameras, and where they needed the new camera.
Ma'am, Mark, is People's 129.
30, counsel.
Oh, I said 8. Did you correct me? Okay, 129, sorry.
This is now you're going to mark something at 130?
Yes, ma'am, Mark, 130.
What is that, please?
It's an aerial surveillance camera placement, aerial map of the cemetery residence.
Very well.
Okay. All right, can you orient yourself as this is an aerial map of the Sementilli residence?
Yes.
Now, there's a pointer in front of you, a stick, if you could pull that out right under your monitor, and then turn around the screen and just indicate then where the cameras were that you looked at.
So we looked at this camera right here, this one right here.
So I'm going to describe. You're pointing to the bottom left. There's a
Bottom left, yes.
bottom left. There's
Close to the street, closer to the street and the driveway.
And where was that camera then?
This camera was, we did not relocate any cameras, just
Okay.
upgraded the cameras or replaced. So I believe I replaced 3 cameras, because altogether they have 5 cameras. So in the picture, what you don't see is the intercom camera. The intercom camera is somewhere right here.
And you're indicating right as an entrance into the driveway?
Entrance into the driveway, yes.
So at that location, entering into the driveway, you said there was an intercom camera. Is that the kind where you push a button if you wanted someone to let you in?
Exactly.
And there was a camera attached to it?
There's a camera inside attached to it, not easy to replace, so we left it alone.
Do you know if that camera was working when you went out there?
It was working when I went out there, and it was working when we left.
The camera in the bottom left that you just pointed to, there's an icon with a right triangle. If I may mark as People's 131, it's a entitled surveillance camera on the side of the house.
Very good.
Is that the camera?
Yes, that's what it seems like. That is
Okay.
correct.
So that's on the side of the house then?
Side of the house, exactly.
Okay, and then there's a photograph on the upper right. Was that the camera you ended up installing? Or
Yes, that's the camera that I use. That is correct.
But when you're out there looking, you're looking at old cameras that you end up replacing at some point.
That is correct.
Did you keep them in the same location as they were when you replaced them? Did you keep them in the same location?
Usually I do, and I believe in this case we did also, yes.
Okay. Back to the aerial 130. What's the next camera?
So we did 3 cameras for her. So that's one. This is number 2, looking at the driveway, straight at the entrance. And this is number 3, which is the side or the back, I should say.
One moment. On the camera looking right at the entrance, it's the right side lower icon. When they mark as People's 132, surveillance camera facing the driveway.
All right.
So you pull straight into the driveway. Is that the camera that would show somebody walking straight into the driveway?
That is correct.
Okay. All right. And then the third camera, which would be, there's a rectangular box, and to the left of that, there's an icon. Which camera is that?
So I believe, because I did 3 cameras replacement, 1, 2, and the top right, I did this camera.
Okay, the top right one you replaced. Let me mark this 133, surveillance camera in your master bedroom photograph.
Very good.
133, is that the camera?
Yes,
And that's in the back of the house.
that is correct.
And that came off the back bedroom.
Yes.
Do you know if that viewpoint covered the patio area? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Patio area is the one that we see in the picture, right here, this area.
Okay. I'll show you that in a moment. Do you
Sure.
remember a covered patio in the back?
I don't recall
Okay,
100%.
I'll show you that in a moment. When I say patio, there's like a gazebo kind of with an awning.
I don't recall it.
Okay. And where was the 4th camera then?
Okay, so this camera right here is the one we added. Because we replaced 3, added 1, and didn't touch the intercom camera, and that total count is 5 cameras.
If I may mark as People's 134 photograph, 2 photographs entitled surveillance camera at front door.
All right.
You added the camera that's depicted in this photograph?
Yes,
So there was no camera at the front door before you ever got there?
I believe so.
All right. So the whole time that you're looking at these cameras, is the defendant showing you those cameras?
Yes.
All right. So we'll talk about you. During that time then, she made a phone call to who you believe was Fabio on the phone.
Yes.
And then what was that conversation about?
Basically to get clarity on what Mr. Fabio mentioned in the email, and also based on my recommendation, after I did the site visit. So pretty much going over the scope of work, what he wanted to do, looking to upgrade, be able to access remotely. And then I think we discussed the intercom camera either at that time or a little later. I told him I don't have a camera to replace it. It's very tiny camera, so we're going to focus on replacing 3 out of 4 cameras, I believe, at that time, and add 1 camera. So the total count will be 5 when we're done.
Okay, and you're adding the camera over the front door.
Out of the front door, that is correct.
Earlier I was asking about 133, which is off the back master bedroom, correct? Where there was a camera?
Yeah.
giving you another view, Exhibit 9. Is that a photograph then of that back patio where that camera was?
Yes, I believe, and I may not remember this very correctly because I didn't do the whole installation myself. I had an installer with me.
Okay.
I remember the whole front very good, so I don't recall this 100%.
Okay, let me just ask you then a point of interest. Exhibit 8. Do you know if there was any cameras that you're aware of that covered this back? This is what I meant by patio. It's more like a gazebo. Do you know if there was any cameras that actually covered that area that you were aware of?
I don't recall it.
Okay. You didn't install any cameras back there?
Yes, I didn't. And I had an installer helping me. So if I did personally installation, then I would remember every single location.
Okay. But that's fine. All right, so what happened after that then? How long were you there?
I believe between me and my installer, we were there for like half a day.
And the entire time you were with the defendant?
No. Usually when I do a site visit, the first time, right? First time when I do a site visit, I spend all the time with the client. It could take 15, 20, 30 minutes. Second time when I go and do the installation, I usually, once I get from the client whatever I need access and all that, I like to work by myself or with my guy, So I think the second time we had little interaction.
Okay. You left at some point, obviously. Did you leave with your installer?
I don't recall it. I think I did, but I don't recall it.
And then what's the next thing you do procedurally?
So before I leave, what I usually do is get the system on the internet. And I don't think the previous system was online. And that was one of the, it wasn't on the internet. That means you cannot access it remotely.
Okay, well, wait. Let me back you up. We're talking about, we're still at the walking around, look at the cameras.
Oh, initial visit?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Did you end up then sending a proposal to both the defendant and Fabio?
Yes.
Okay. Let me mark this people's 135. It's a 16-page document of emails including a proposal.
Very good.
So that same day then, Wednesday, June 22nd, 2016 at 1:04, do you recall sending this email then to sementilli.f@pg.com and again, kalmati-mo@hotmail.com?
Yes.
Okay. And that was, to your knowledge, Fabio and Monica?
Yes.
Okay. So what did you include here? You mentioned a proposal.
So this is basically an estimate that we sent to replace the DVR, replace 3 cameras, replace or upgrade, and add an additional camera and replace or add a kitchen monitor or TV.
And does that come with a new DVR box?
It definitely comes with a new DVR box, yes.
Turning to page 2, is that your proposal?
Yes.
And your proposal total was $1,798.50.
That is correct.
Now there's some language in here in your proposal. One of them says you can do almost anything, everything on your phone, like watch live recording, save live or recorded image and video, send image or video. What does that mean?
So basically it means is once you get the system on the internet, you can view the cameras simultaneously, multiple channels, 4, 5, you can see the whole house in one's view, up to 16 cameras.
So if you were, well, we'll get into how you do that, but if you were to log on your phone, is it through an app?
It is through an app.
Great. You can pull up multiple cameras at once?
You can pull up multiple cameras at once.
So if the Sementillis had 5, could they watch all 5 cameras from their phone, assuming they have the app at one time?
Yes.
Okay. When you were out there for the first walkthrough, did you talk about this remote access with the defendant?
Absolutely.
And what did you tell her?
That you'll be able to access the cameras on the phone, PC, Mac. That's why we put that, a detailed description, because this is one of the reasons people upgrade their equipment. Most people who upgrade their equipment, they cannot view their cameras remotely because of limitations on older systems.
Was this an older system that you were upgrading that didn't have that capability?
I believe so, and it wasn't connected either to the network, so I did that myself.
Okay. So the previous camera system, you weren't able to view it on a phone as far as you knew?
That is correct.
All right. So you sent the proposal. The next day then, zooming in here, which is Thursday, the very next day, did you receive this email then back from the defendant, Monica Sementilli?
That is correct.
And was that the go-ahead that you were going to go ahead and do this installation?
Yes, that's what it looks like.
And that's page 4. On page 5, is that you just confirming that it's approved?
Yes, just to reconfirm.
Okay, now at this point, according to the email, you're only communicating with the defendant. Fabio is not on these emails anymore. Is there any reason why?
Not sure. Yeah, seems like this is the I mean, that was the first email that where she took over.
Okay. And by the way, you never met Fabio, ever?
I've never met Fabio, no.
Okay. Page 7, again, is it clear as well? Again, the same day, Thursday, the day after you sent the proposal, that's the defendant telling you, yes, we want to proceed.
That is correct.
Okay, and again, no conversations with Fabio about this?
No.
All right. Okay, so that's one moment. All right, so you go out for the installation, and do you set up the installation?
Yes.
When did you set it up for, if you recall?
I don't recall the exact date. I don't know, it was June 23rd or...
Okay, so if you started the communication on the 19th, you went out for the estimate and emailed the proposal on the 23rd, then does 27th sound right, a few days later?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. At that point, then, what's the process for going out for the installation?
So we set up a time, like how early I can start the installation. And I believe with her case, probably either my availability or her availability, we started close to like 8 o'clock. And what I like to do is when I show up in the morning, I like to go over one more time with the client just to make sure we're all on the same page, so there's no changes. So I take like 10-15 minutes of the client's time, like, hey, this is what we're gonna do, this is what we're gonna do, because we're going from estimate to the execution. So I just want to make sure there's no changes from the time we spoke last. Okay. Sometimes people want to make changes or relocate the camera, so I want to know ahead of time before I start the job.
Okay, and I misspoke. You actually went out there on the 28th, does that sound right?
Yes, I believe so.
Did you at some point start communicating with the defendant on text messaging?
I did, yes.
My name Marcus equals 136, a 2-page document with text messages between Monica-Woodland Hills is the title? Okay. So, do you recognize this conversation of text messages between you and the defendant?
Yes.
So on June 27th, is that you confirming see you tomorrow morning?
That is correct.
And is that for the installation?
That's for the installation, yes.
Okay, so then that morning, June 28th, the defendant's texting you, are you on your way, and you're confirming approximately 7:55?
That is correct.
Okay. Then you text, I need access to your PC, please, to set up remote access. What is that?
Basically, this is so my tech can log into her computer and do port forwarding so that she can watch the cameras on her phone.
Did she ultimately give that to you?
I believe she did.
Okay. And then at 10:32, I don't know if this is before or after, but can I pay with a credit card? What is that about?
I think there was something about payment, like I like to collect half up front. And I believe she said there was something about payment. And then she said that, well, can I just pay you full? And then she wanted to pay by credit card. And I told her, that's fine, but we'll have to take off the discount that we usually apply to check, you know?
Okay. All right, so you got the location, and who did you go with?
One of my installer, I don't recall the installer name.
And then what did you do when you got there?
Basically, what I usually like to do is when I get to the site, I look at the cameras, see if anything has changed from the last time I was there. Sometimes I take pictures. Most of the time I take a picture so I know where I'm starting at. So if I'm going to be working on 4 cameras or 5, I know where I started, so I'm not missing anything. So we're not troubleshooting something that wasn't part of the job or scope of work. Then I usually want to get in to set up the remote access, get the system online. That was my goal. And I believe I probably showed up before my installer did. So I'll get the system online, get it up and running. I'll swap the DVR, the main recorder. Once I swap the DVR and I get it online, I have access on my phone. Then my tech can go and replace cameras, and I will be able to help him adjust the cameras.
Okay, so you got there first from what you remember.
I believe so.
When you got there, did you meet the defendant?
Yes.
Okay, and again, was she the only one that you saw there?
Yes.
Did you explain to her what you were going to do?
Yes.
Did you have another conversation about her being able to remotely access the cameras once they were installed?
I believe that was part of the whole conversation from the get-go, from Fabio, from her, that yes, absolutely, that's a must.
Okay, that's a must.
That's a must.
Okay, so when you said you got online, what did you do specifically? I know we're getting a little techie, but what did you do?
No worries. So basically, first I got to figure out a way to get the system on the internet, and for that I need a hardwired cable, network cable. So if it's not close by, so what I do sometimes is either I will do a Wi-Fi network adapter. Basically, I will make my DVR like Wi-Fi capable. Usually DVRs are not Wi-Fi capable. So I'll make it Wi-Fi capable, or I will use network adapters that run internet cable network connection over the power of the house. So I don't recall which technology I use for her, but that's what I did initially when I got there, start setting up the system to get the system online.
Okay. So the actual box that was in the garage, the DVR box, did you bring in a new box and take out the old box?
Yes.
That DVR box, is it iCloud based, meaning if the box is taken and disappears, does it store things up in the iCloud like the technology we have today with our cell phones?
Good question. So most of the DVRs are somewhat capable of doing it. We don't do it. I only have one client that I'm doing it for, and they're paying for it. So I think 90+% of the clients don't do it for the cost. But are they capable? In one way or another, they are somewhat capable, but not like your phone, iPhone. No, not like that.
This DVR box, was it capable?
With very few limitations. Not exactly.
So if the DVR box is taken, can you retrieve data from it? If it's taken out of the property, you don't know where it is, it's gone, can you retrieve data from it without the box?
No.
Okay, did you explain that to the defendant?
I don't recall it. To be honest, I don't recall if we had this conversation.
Okay. Did you have any conversation about iCloud or anything of that nature?
No, I don't recall it.
Okay. So when what if there's a power outage and the power goes out? What happens with the DVR box?
So as long as the power is out, the system doesn't record. And when the power comes back up, system comes back up automatically. Then it starts to record.
In simple terms for some of us, can you explain how a DVR box connects to the internet or the ISP or the provider?
Sure. So in order to view the cameras, for example, on your phone or your computer, anywhere you are, iPhone, Android, you have to download an app, and the app is going to ask you some basic information. And that information we provide to client in a very easy to follow format, so we don't have to train every day each client. And then it's going to ask you, what do you want to name the location? You can call it whatever you want. Then it says, what is the address? And it's referring to the IP address, which is unique for every client. For example, my phone right now has an IP address. That's how I can be traced. Your phone will have an IP address, but it can change. So you put the IP address in there, and I get that IP address from when I go to her house. I use her computer. That's why we got in her computer, so we can get her information, IP address, and my guy can send the email to her with all the instructions.
So that's my question is, you help your customers at the house determine if they don't know what their IP address is.
Exactly.
And you need that IP address for the app?
You absolutely need that IP address for the app to be able to view the cameras from anywhere.
Okay. So if there's no internet at the house, is the DVR box going to work?
Yes.
How is it going to work?
So the DVR is a standalone box. The cameras are connected, hardwired behind it. It doesn't require internet. But for you to view the cameras remotely, you must have internet.
Let's take our morning recess for 15 minutes. The admonition applies. See you back there.
Okay, so they are taking a morning break, and I just want to give a big shout out to Recovery Addict. Thank you for pushing us over the 5,900 mark. We are at 5,904. So thank you so much for that, Scott, and Recovery Addict, and all those that have come over to subscribe. Scott is showing our feed of day one for South Carolina versus Zachary Hughes because it was not available from the other channels. So we streamed it. We have it. Scott's using it. So happy to provide that service to you, Recovery Addict, and so happy for using it, and so happy for the new subscribers. So we here are California versus Monica Sementilli. We are actually doing a catch-up ourselves because Hughes ended today. I'm not going to give any spoilers in case you guys didn't see it. But they're done for today, so we had to catch up on this trial. Kind of a similar situation. We were trying to stream it day 11 the other day, and we missed the beginning. But the feed that we were using, we weren't able to rewind all the way. So we just had the afternoon. So now we're going back and we're watching the morning. So kind of a similar situation. All right, so the morning started out with Mela Sementilli. She is the sister of Fabio. She was on cross, and it got a little testy, a little spicy here. They were basically, Monica's texts were they about her frustration about finding the killers, and Mela says yes, she was frustrated about finding the killers, but it wasn't. But then she said it wasn't specifically finding the killers. It was about more information about the investigation. So again, they're still trying to go for Monica was just all about the money, money, money. Where's the money? Where's the money? Why aren't I getting released from law enforcement? I want the insurance money. So it was more what was holding up the letter than to release. So Mela is saying, at first she did say it was frustration about finding the killers, but then she said no, it was more about holding up the letter to release her as a suspect. And then she says she didn't have those exact words in a text. But she says Monica said it starts with Parchell, and then it goes all the way up to the mayor. She was going to get answers, and she was talking about getting hold of the news station. They talked about the Fiat, Bella's Fiat that got totaled. And then she says, it breaks my heart to say this, but the daughters, were very disrespectful. I had asked for property on behalf of my mom, and they replied to me in so many rude ways about it. Belongs to their mother, and they're not sending her anything, so it was basically they turned their back on their grandmother on Fabio's side. They didn't want to see her during pretrial. She said she tried to reach out to them via text, phone, the aunt, Deborah Obad, but she didn't. She says she doesn't have those messages. And then the defense says, isn't it true that you sent Jessica a text that said you're a bitch and a C word? And she's like, no, never did that. Then redirect came in and says, do you have any idea at the time Monica was having an affair? She's like, no. Did Monica's family... I thought this was a good one. Monica's family didn't like Fabio in the beginning, and she said, yes, that's true. Is it fair they wouldn't like Baker? She said, yes. She forgot. She gets confused. That's why Monica sent her this email. Monica was in fear of losing her home. Monica wanted to take this to the news. And I think, was it Brooklyn? Did you say that ironic now is that she has the news? The news is very much in her face. Then there was cross, then redirect, then cross, and cross. I mean, they just went back and forth. And then during one of those redirects, we found out that Luigi was filing a lawsuit against Monica for money. She says, yes, I had discussions with Luigi, and it was for a wrongful death lawsuit. So I don't know if they're still going to do that, because if she does get exonerated, or if she is found not guilty, is Luigi going to try and do a wrongful death lawsuit? Interesting. And then I asked, do you think Monica and Morelli like each other? BFF, 7%. Oil and water, 92%. Yeah, I don't think, and I meant that. I think, Julie, were wondering if that was now or present or past. I meant it now, because they were glaring at each other. So I can't imagine they were BFFs, but right now they're not. And now currently we have Sean Kahn on. He's a security and surveillance camera installation. His company is First Digital Surveillance, and he's been around since 2007. 2017, so he basically put the surveillance in. He went into the garage. He said the DVR was on top of that white cabinet, so there's a big deal because that DVR is missing. So that's a big deal, because how would the perpetrators know where this DVR was unless they were told? He also replaced the monitor in the kitchen. He talks about IP address. Oh, and then remotely. So this is pretty big too. You have to download an app in order to control this. He says access cameras remotely is a must. He says you need to do that. That's a must. He said the DVR will still work if there's no internet at the house, but if you want to view them remotely, you need an internet. You need an internet connection. So, all right. So yeah, again, thank you, Scott. Appreciate 5905. Really appreciate that. And for all those that are new, if you're new to our chat, thank you. Thank you for joining us. And we're more than happy that we are able to still provide a clean stream. That makes me feel so good that we're still able to do that. All right, we are going to zoom. We're going to do some zoomies here. And we're going to get back to Mr. Khan. Back to Mr. Khan. Do you guys have any questions? I should ask that first. What are you guys talking about? Anything? Lily Wayne, anything we can do to help the really good, respectful YouTubers? Oh, well, thank you. Dream Landry, Scott is how I found this channel also. Yep, Lily Wayne, Scott is such a great guy. He directed me here. Yeah, no, Scott, he's great. He's the one that gave us his equipment to go to Sarah Boone. That's kind of where it all started. Nan R, I just got back and my hair looks purty, but look at how many subs the Squeegee of Justice and Trial TV have now. Yay! Yeah, I just explained it. Scott had us up. He's using our stream from day one for Zachary Hughes, and he had me covered, and then he uncovered me. And so at one point we were both on the screen together, and we went in. We were saying hello to everybody. So Debbie Blair, yes, unaliving often brings out the worst ugliness in people. I agree. Lily Wayne, I think they liked each other in the past, but no longer. I agree. Yeah, no, I think they liked each other, but then this is, yeah. Ken Rosenberg, yep. Congrats. Yes. And Debbie Blair, yes, Scott is awesome. He is. We're looking forward to many more liaisons with him and going to trial, going to courts. We're definitely looking forward to that. Lily Wayne, Scott talked about you often in the Boone trial, always positive. Yeah, no, we were talking to him like daily throughout the entire day because we had to connect. We used his equipment. We had to connect it. We were constantly in communication with him. So we got to know Scott pretty well, and I think he got to know us pretty well as well. All right, let us get you back into the court where we will pick up on...
Mr. Sementilli, the defendant is present. All counsel present, jury, and alternatives are present. Mr. Khan, you're still under oath. People may continue.
Thank you. And just for a point of clarification, when I referred to Exhibit 7 earlier, it's a packet, so it was Exhibit 7, page 20. And when I referred to Exhibit 9, it was page 8. Mr. Khan, we were just talking about the IP address. You were able to determine then the IP address at the Sementilli residence.
That is correct.
Now, during this, are you providing information to the defendant during this time?
Yes. Once I set up the remote access, once I obtained her IP address with the help of my remote tech who logged into her computer, we're able to get that information. I set up my own phone first, and then we're able to provide that information to her.
And that's while you're still there?
That is correct.
So you're having a conversation directly with the defendant then about how to remotely access and view the cameras from her phone?
That is correct.
Okay. When you said you logged in from your own phone, what did you do?
So I have the app set up already. I just add a additional location. to my app.
So what app is that?
The app today is called DMSS. At that time, it was called iDMSS for iPhone, GDMSS for Android.
Ma'am, Marcus Peoples Exhibit 137, 2 photographs which show the iDMSS Lite app.
Yes.
All right, just putting this up here for reference, is this what the app looks like if you were to go into either your iPhone on the left or your Android on the right and download it onto your phone?
Yes, this was the app we were using at that time.
Okay, and that time, has it changed since 2017?
Yes, app changes, 6 months, a year, name can change, but this is the app we were using at that time.
Okay, so you already have the app. How are you able then, how can you log on and see the Sementilli live feed of the videos?
Okay, so what I'll do is, for example, I'll add a new account, a new device, for example. I'll put for the name, I'll put in the client's name, for example, for my reference. I'll put in her IP address, or Sementilli's family's home IP address, and the username and the password. For myself, I would use an admin account that I usually don't share with the clients unless the cameras are, unless it's a house and the cameras are inside the house.
So were you able then at the scene or at the location that day, did you test it with your phone, your app, you used the IP address at the Sementilli residence, and you were able to test it and view that all the cameras were working?
That is correct.
Okay. Now we talked about that 5th camera that you did not install at the entryway intercom box. Was that wired into something that they would be able to view from the phone as well?
That is correct. So that is the intercom. I don't recall where the intercom screen was inside, but I believe the feed was already going into the old DVR. So we took it out of the old DVR, plugged it into the new DVR. So that was one of our 5th camera.
So when you pull up the app on your phone with their IP address, you can see at one time 5 cameras.
That is correct.
Okay. That monitor that's in their kitchen then, does that show all 5 of those cameras as well?
That is correct.
And you replaced that monitor?
Yes.
So that was a brand new one?
It was a new one. That is correct.
Right. Did you show them before you left, did you show the defendant how to access it with your app and what you were doing?
Yes.
So you went through it on your phone with her?
That is correct. I usually do that. I don't recall if I did it with her specifically. One of the reasons I don't want to do that is because people get like all, they say, oh my God, you're watching my cameras on your phone. Are you going to be watching it while you leave? So sometimes I do it, but I necessarily won't pull up their home on my phone. I'll pull up like my home and I'll show them how the app works. In case I'm not around while the cameras are up. I can connect her phone to her system without having the cameras connected, right? Because the system could be up to the internet, but no cameras connected.
So that was something was that something she told you she wanted, was to be able to remotely access these cameras from her phone when she's not at home?
Absolutely.
Okay. Did you ever have that same conversation with Fabio?
Other than the request he had in the original email, no.
Okay, so you never talked about the logistics of the cameras and how to access it with Fabio?
No.
So after that first interaction, when you got the email and she put him on speaker when you went out for an estimate, did you ever really communicate with him again?
I don't think so.
Okay. Was your point person then, or your person that you communicated with the defendant?
Seems like, yes, that's what it seemed like. Once I sent the estimate, the approval came from her.
Okay.
That was it from then on.
All right, so then after you leave, what happens after all the equipment's set up, you've tested it, it's working on your phone, then what's the protocol? What happens next with the customer?
So my phone tech is supposed to do a follow-up with the client, send the welcome email. We call it a welcome email. It's the instructions that basically tell her what app to download, that information, and he's supposed to do a follow-up to make sure that if they have any questions regarding the instructions.
Okay. And if I may mark as 138, 3 pages email from tech support at cctvfirst.com to kalmati-mo@hotmail.com. All right. Putting this email up here then, this is the same day, Tuesday, June 28th, 10:37 a.m. from the tech support. Who is tech support within your company?
At that time, it was a gentleman by the name of Nasir that worked with me.
And is this a standard email that goes out to all of your customers?
That is correct.
But this specific email went to the defendant, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and then can you explain what information you're providing to her?
Basically, it's telling the client that how many ways you can access the cameras remotely, giving them instructions on Internet Explorer, Firefox, if they decide to go that route, giving them a username, password, the unique IP address, and then plugins they may need for Mac and Windows.
Okay. On page 2, and I was showing you page 1, on page 2, is there more, same thing here, specific instructions for an iPhone?
Yeah, so this one is, as simple as we can, instructions for the iPhone. For anybody who has never done it before too, it tells you download and install the IDMSS Lite or GDMSS Lite from App Store. So whatever they type in, based on their phone, the app will pop up if it's I or G. Then it tells them exactly step by step what to do to set up the app with no supervision, no involvement from us, hopefully.
And is this the same information that you already verbally gone over?
Yes.
At the house?
That is correct.
Did you get a text from the defendant regarding setting up the system?
I believe she has sent a text like in the afternoon.
136, which is early March, page 2, at June 28, 2016 at 1:30 p.m. Is that a text from the defendant to you saying, I can't connect with my iPhone, went to support page, but are asking for name and support key?
That is correct.
And then is that you who answered, I will help you shortly?
Yes.
What did you do?
I believe what I usually would do is I will take the message and forward to my the person who was supporting her, the tech support person, and he would basically just call her and walk her through it.
All right. If I may mark as people's 139, 3-page email correspondence, again from First Digital Surveillance, to the defendant. Let me mark that. Okay. This email then, same time frame, June 28, 2:19 p.m. So that would be shortly thereafter. Is that you asking someone to help the defendant? Nasir, please assist Monica with remote access today.
That is correct. So I'm just basically telling my tech to assist her.
And then at 12:50 p.m., did that same email go back out once again explaining how to download the app for her?
Yes.
Okay. And again with the instructions, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So then your correspondence, again, 136, page 2. She answers, I got it, thanks. And then you responded, please let me know if any questions. Did she ever follow up and say, I can't access it anymore, I'm having problems, anything like that?
I don't recall 100% what happened after that because I think she said, I got it, thanks. I'm not sure exactly if she meant like she was able to access it. So I just asked her if she has any questions, let us know.
Okay.
And I had already told the guy in my office to follow up. So I think one of the reasons I may have asked her that question, are you home, is because sometimes when people are home, they're using the home Wi-Fi. They're behind the same IP address as the camera system is. Sometimes you cannot watch your cameras when you're at home.
Okay.
If your Wi-Fi is turned on. Simply put. So you can just turn off your Wi-Fi. For example, you could be anywhere in the world, you can watch your cameras. So I think I may have, that's what I was asking her if she was home. I didn't get a response, I believe, and then I just left it alone.
Okay, so that was the end of the communication.
That is correct.
Okay. She never followed back up any more questions about
Not that I can recall.
accessing. Now, just a few more questions, as far as the DVR box, the actual box. What's the explain again, is there any storage that's on the box when it's plugged in?
So the DVR has a hard drive, just like a computer. And the hard drive size dictates how long the system will record. We do record on motion only versus recording all the time. So the system can hold generally about 30 plus days.
Okay, but you need the box to get that data.
Absolutely, you need the box. The DVR box has a hard drive inside. So you need both, that DVR and the hard drive inside.
So if the box is stolen, removed, unplugged, or broken, you can potentially lose all of the recordings.
Absolutely.
Okay. In this case, were you ever provided that original DVR box to try to retrieve any data from it? Meaning, did you ever get it back after this?
No.
Okay. One moment. And then these cameras that you upgraded, were they? What was different about the old cameras versus the new cameras?
Resolution, clarity, night vision. So just much better visibility.
And when you say motion sensor, just briefly explain what
Sure.
that means.
So most DVRs are capable of doing it to some extent, even like 10 years old or older systems. But what we want to do is we want to record only motion detection. If there is any motion at all, we want to record that. So the motion could be a tree moving,
Okay.
a car driving by the street, not even coming to your place. That will trigger a motion.
Okay.
So when you do a playback, you will see only activity.
All right. So if you want to view it, you can be away from your residence. Does it matter how far you are to be able to view what you're watching at your residence on the videos?
No. All you need is internet at home and internet wherever you are.
And are you always then using your home IP address?
Yes, you are.
Is there a way to tell if someone's at a different location if they're viewing the video? Like basically, if someone's not at the location, they're down the street, is there a way to go back and look at if that person was actually viewing the video?
There's two ways I think you can tell. The simplest way is if you have the DVR, you can see the log live, or you can do the history search.
So the box would have a history if someone logged in and viewed it, but you need the box.
You need the box.
Okay. What's the other way?
The other way is data spike. So let's say if you're watching Netflix or anything online, you're downloading the data from YouTube and all that stuff. So it's all downloaded. When you're watching cameras, it's the other way around. The data is uploaded. So you will have a spike on your upload.
Okay, and how can you tell where that spike is? Where do those records come from?
The internet provider, most likely. You can check with the internet provider.
And in your experience, the internet provider, they maintain records that will show things such as data spikes?
I'm not sure about that.
Okay, that's your understanding.
Yeah, that's my understanding. I'm not
Okay.
sure about that.
Did you meet with detectives then in July 20th of 2017 and initially go over this case? They asked you questions?
I believe so, yes.
So when they first met with you, again, we're talking July 20th of 2017, do you recall them asking you questions specifically about the Sementilli residence?
Yes.
Did you have to go back after that initial meeting and refresh your memory and look through emails and things of that
yes,
nature?
Yes, absolutely, I did.
Okay. And did you talk to them about these data spikes and ways that you could tell if you didn't have the DVR box?
I believe we did talk about that, yes.
Did you subsequently then get called to testify at a grand jury then the following month in August of 2017?
I believe I did.
Hold on a moment. Let me ask you this. If you were to, you provide a password and an ID, right? You a username and a password to the customers.
Right.
Okay. Is that the same one that you send to every customer?
Yes.
So what I'm saying is originally you sent instructions how to log on, correct?
Yes.
And then you provide them with any instruction how to change that password if they want to.
I don't provide them instructions on how to change the password necessarily, but the format that I use is the same for all the customers.
So what if someone were to get that email and say, this is how you need to download IDMSS, this is your username, this is your password, and this is your IP address. What if someone were to get that email and forwarded it to a family member or a friend or somebody else? Can that person now follow those same instructions and log on to the Sementilli IP address and access those videos?
Absolutely. I think the way we write the instructions, even if you're not tech savvy at all, and that's why we write the instructions. Within 5 minutes, you can be viewing the cameras from anywhere.
Okay, so also while you're out and about, and we talked about the data spike, can you be on other apps while you're watching those videos? Let's say
Yes.
you're out somewhere and you want to look at your home surveillance. Can you have other apps? Let's start with, can other apps be open?
Absolutely.
Can you be on like YouTube and be watching your videos from
Absolutely,
surveillance?
you can.
How does that work?
So I myself normally, sometimes I forget to close the app, and then I get a warning like you've been using the data in the background. So I would sometimes have the cameras on, and I would go to WhatsApp myself, or if I want to go to YouTube, and I'll leave the apps on sometime myself, and it works simultaneously at the same time.
So there's no limit as far as you know?
As far as I know, no.
So, for example, you can have a YouTube open, a website open, your live streaming videos are open.
Right.
And what does live streaming mean?
Live streaming basically is a continuous feed of the cameras. You may have a hiccup of you may have like 1 to 3 seconds delay, depending on your internet speed at home and where you are. Other than that, it's just a live stream, continuous feed.
And when you testified before, live streaming then uses a lot of data, which causes those data spikes?
It can use, absolutely, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Defense may cross.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Mr. Khan.
Hey, how you doing?
So First Digital Surveillance, that's your company, correct?
That is correct.
Indeed, I think that's the company that's on the T-shirt you're wearing,
Yes.
right? And you said that installs and integrates security cameras at people's homes, is that fair to say?
Residential, mostly commercial.
Okay, but residential as well.
That is correct.
And you started your company in 2007, you said?
I believe so, yes.
So in 2016, it's 2016 you did this install, wasn't it?
That is correct.
In the middle of the year, in June, correct?
That is correct.
So in 2016 you've been operating for 9 years, right?
I believe so.
Okay. And how often would you say you did installations? Was it sort of once a week? What would you say at that time?
5 days a week, 5 to 6 days a week.
So a lot of installations.
Absolutely.
All right. And that's obviously many, many a year. So from your experience, this installation you did for the Sementillis, it was nothing out of the ordinary what they were asking for, is that right?
That is correct.
And someone requesting remote access, is that a common thing people ask for?
It is a
popular thing?
It's common and popular. That is
So again, someone requesting that, it's nothing unusual out of the ordinary, right?
It's not unusual.
All right. I just want to ask a little bit about the setup, but let's start with how the setup came to be. So as you've confirmed, it was Fabio Sementilli who reached out to you first, correct?
That is correct.
In that email we saw, right?
Yes.
And Monica's not part of that email, right?
She was.
She was copied on it, but
She was
wasn't
copied on it, yes.
communicating on it, right?
Not communicating directly at that point.
Okay, and then there was some back and forth emails deciding the time and telling you the location, correct?
Yes, from Fabio.
And that's all from Fabio, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then you said you had a phone call with Fabio, right?
I believe, I don't recall if I had a phone call with him before I went out there, but we definitely had a phone call, I believe, when we were at the premises.
So you had a phone call at some point. It was either before you went to the premises or during while you were at the premises.
I don't recall if I had one before I went to the premises. I usually do, I usually want to talk to people before I go out and invest my time because it's a free estimate. He came across from his email. He came across pretty serious, and he wanted to get it done. You get this vibe sometime. So I don't recall if I talked to him over the phone, whether it was Sunday or Monday.
You definitely spoke to him over the phone about.
I spoke to him over the phone, definitely at the house with her.
And as part of that, he was talking about exactly what he wanted.
Exactly.
And he was saying things like, "I want a new camera above the front door," right?
Exactly.
And he was saying, "I want remote access." He was saying that.
That was in his email too, and I'm sure that's what we discussed. That is correct.
Okay, so you're sure that you discussed with him, Fabio, asking about remote access?
I don't recall it, to be honest. It was in his email, so it was clear that that's what the outcome needs to be.
Okay. Let's talk just briefly about the actual cameras you had set up. If I could look at People's Exhibit 130. Just fine. Showing you People's Exhibit 130. You see this?
Yes.
And these are the cameras that you were working on, correct?
That is correct.
And you replaced 3 of them, is that right?
Yes.
And then you installed a new one?
Yes.
And the new one, as I understand what we testified to earlier, is the one right in the middle here, correct?
That is correct.
And then these are the 3 you replaced, correct?
Yes.
These are obviously all external cameras, right?
That is correct.
No internal cameras you worked on?
No internal cameras that I can recall.
And just to clarify, these are fixed cameras, they're not movable, right? They don't move themselves.
That is correct.
And you can't move them, they just have a fixed point of view.
They're
right?
fixed point of view, yes.
You talked about an intercom camera, right?
Yes.
And that's not shown on this.
That is correct.
I just wanted to be clear. So this obviously happened 9 years ago, right? You did this installation.
That is correct.
It's right though, isn't it? Just to clarify that actually the intercom camera was a separate system, wasn't it?
I believe the intercom camera, because it is an intercom, so it doesn't make sense to have an intercom outside and no receiver inside. I don't recall where the receiver was, but the output of that camera was also coming to the previous DVR.
Okay. Do you recall that when you set up this system with the monitor showed 4 cameras? It didn't show the intercom, that was separate. Do you remember that?
When I set up, I believe it's correct to say that the original system had 4 cameras. I don't remember what the capability of the original system was, a 4-channel or not. Channel means like how many cameras you can add. But when I finished the job, I had 5 cameras on it, including the intercom.
All right, well, you remember you said you testified at the grand jury, correct? That was back in August 2017. Right?
Yes.
And that would have been just over a year after all this took place.
Right.
Obviously now with a lot longer, we're 9 years after this took place, correct?
Right.
Do you remember being asked about how many cameras you installed at the grand jury?
I believe they did, yes.
And do you remember being asked if it was a total of 4 cameras on the system? And you said, yes, that sounds correct.
I believe so, that is correct.
Okay, so actually, thinking back now, me telling you that, from your grand jury testimony, the system you set up, it was actually a total of 4 cameras, not 5.
I think I've seen the pictures now, and it has 5 cameras on it. I looked at my records, and it has 5 cameras on it. Before, I was going by my memory. So I've looked at the client information, and it had 5 cameras on it total, including the intercom camera, which we did not touch.
Sorry, just one moment. Scott, what pictures are those that you're talking about?
Most of the time, we would take a picture from when we do the job before and after. We take pictures.
All right.
So,
we don't have those here today, do we?
I don't have those pictures right now. No.
Okay. All right. Just some technical questions, though. You were saying how it needs to connect to the home IP address. It
Yes.
absolutely has to in order to be video, correct?
Yes,
So there's no connection to the home IP address. You can't live stream video from your phone, right?
that is correct.
And that's because it has to connect to the DVR, which is open next to the security cameras.
That is correct.
And obviously, if the DVR is taken, there's absolutely no way to view the security cameras.
If the DVR is taken, then you cannot access it. That is correct.
Looking at this picture back again, so this camera here, it has a cone that shows the field of view, correct?
Yes.
So this would capture, I think we saw another prosecution photo, this would capture this area here, correct?
That is correct.
But there's no cameras that you install that you know of that capture this back patio area.
Judge, will we just describe what this area was?
Sure, I think it's described by the people as the side patio, which is next to the master bedroom. And there's another photo that I could put up. Oh, okay. So to be clear, I was describing the top corner camera and saying that it captures the side patio, which is by the master bedroom. Is that your understanding?
That is correct.
And then the other patio area I refer to as the back patio to the left of the house. You are not aware of any cameras you installed or in existence that capture this?
Yes, I don't recall that.
I think you also said that when you were there installing the cameras, you were with Monica Sementilli, correct?
Yes.
And you said you don't have any recollection of speaking to her about iCloud or anything like that.
I don't recall that, yes.
Now, you talked about how you had some certain text with Monica Sementilli throughout the process, correct?
Say that question again.
You had some text communication with Monica Sementilli.
Yes,
throughout
text
the process.
communication, yes.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
But it's true that there were communications that were also sent to Fabio Sementilli, like the proposal, for example.
Yes,
Okay, so the proposal was sent to Fabio, correct?
that is correct.
And it was addressed to him, correct?
Yes.
And the invoice that was also sent to Fabio, correct?
Yes.
And that was addressed to him again, Fabio Sementilli, right?
Yes, I don't recall if we had CC'd Monica on every conversation. Seems like she was CC'd from the beginning, from Fabio. We may have continued that trend.
All right. But regardless of what it could be, the CC, these things, the proposal and the invoice were sent to Fabio Sementilli, with him naming them.
Yes.
And you were shown a document which was the instructions being sent to Monica Sementilli. Remember that?
Yes.
It's also true, isn't it, though, that the instructions were also sent to Fabio, weren't they?
I believe they were both CC'd on it.
Right.
They were sent to both.
And then in your later email, there was a later email where you were showing where you contacted your tech support guy, I think that's it. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And Fabio's also CC'd on that, isn't it?
Yes.
So there were multiple communications with Fabio throughout this process, correct?
Email communication, yes.
Yes. Multiple email communications. There was him initiating contact, right?
Yes.
Him having a back and forth with you.
Yes.
And at that point in time, you didn't know who Monica Sementilli was, did you?
Say that one more time.
When you had the first initial email communication with Fabio Sementilli, you remember that?
Yes.
And then you had a few more emails after, which would just clarify the time and the address.
Yes.
At that point, you never met Monica Sementilli, had you?
No.
And you didn't know who she was at that point. Right?
That is correct.
And then, obviously, you send the proposal and the invoice and the instructions to Fabio.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to go back just briefly. You talked about looking at photos which seem to confirm something about the intercom camera, correct? Right?
Yes.
Do you still have these photos?
I don't recall it at this point if we have it. I usually have this information in our computers.
Were they ever provided to the police?
I don't recall it.
I just wanted to ask you just another technical question in relation to the IDMSS app. So you spoke about how you can have it on your phone.
Yes.
And it can run in the background, right? That's what you were saying.
Yes.
So you can switch to another app,
right,
such as WhatsApp or YouTube, correct?
Right. And
then the IDMSS is running still in the background.
That is correct.
And it could still be using data if it's running in the background, correct?
It can still be running the data. That is correct.
Right. Even if you're not actually looking at the app.
That is correct.
Okay. And another thing, I just wanted to clarify. The iPhone doesn't have a split screen function, does it?
Not that I know of. Between multiple apps?
Right. You can't look at them on the same screen at the same exact time, can you?
I'm not familiar with it.
Okay. So when you talk about doing things simultaneously, just want to make this clear, is what you mean that you can have the IDMSS open and you're looking at the home surveillance cameras, for example, but then if you want to look at YouTube, you have to minimize it and then go to YouTube. Is that right?
Yes.
So you can't actually look at them both at exactly the same time.
That is correct.
You have to minimize one and then you switch over to another, correct?
That is correct.
And that's the same if you wanted to text message, for example.
Yes.
You couldn't actually text message at exactly the same time that you're viewing the cameras. You'd have to switch over to the text message app.
That is correct.
Okay. And the same with WhatsApp or another communication app. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Sorry, just one moment. No other questions.
Anything further by the people?
Just quickly, 128, they're talking about the email from Fabio. That's the one email you got from Fabio.
The first email, yes.
Right. He never asked for remote access.
I think it was my misunderstanding.
Did he ever ask for remote access?
Actually, it was my misunderstanding. I apologize. Apparently not.
Okay. And in fact, after this first email, did Fabio respond to any of the emails?
If he responded to any of the emails?
Yeah, we went through all the emails.
Yes.
Did you see Fabio responding to anything after we first set up the date of the installation, or the date of the estimate?
No, that was interesting actually. Up to the point the estimate was provided, even the approval did not come from him.
Who approved it?
Monica.
Okay. And then 138, again, the surveillance, when the instructions were sent, they were sent just to the defendant on how to download that app.
Yes, so that was my misunderstanding again. It was just sent to Monica, and the CC was supposed to be me, but it was just misspelled.
Okay. To be fair, you did ask after that for Nasir to help. And when you did that, you put, looks like did you put Fabio on the email then?
Yeah.
But did he ask you to do that, or did you just add him onto it?
Apparently I just added on to it because to me he was the main contact.
Okay. Well, when you say main contact, he's the first contact.
He was the first contact, I apologize.
But did you ever then, after that first email exchange, and you talked to him when you went to the estimate on speaker, Did you ever talk to him again?
Not that I can think of, no.
Okay. And the same thing with 135, the proposal. I know defense asked me if you sent it to Fabio, but in fact, you have Monica on the proposal as well, correct?
Yes.
Up here, the calamati-mo@hotmail.com.
Yes.
So you included both of them in the proposal when you attached it.
That is correct.
Same with the invoice?
Same with the invoice, yes.
Both of them were included in the invoice.
That is correct.
When you sent it to him. Those cameras, we talked about being able to move them. When you installed the new ones, did you put them in the same place as the old ones?
I believe it did.
So they were fixed, meaning what? You can't remotely move them, right?
That is correct.
But can you get up and actually physically change the angle of the cameras if you so chose?
You can.
Okay. And then as far as the defendant or anyone being able to stream and look at that, when the defendant downloaded that app, would she be able to do something such as record? Can you watch the video and record what you're looking at on the video screen?
You absolutely can.
But to get that recording, again, do you need the DVR box?
So, just to make sure I understand correctly, so let's say if I'm viewing something, one specific channel, for example, I can record that on my phone, and then I don't need the DVR box anymore.
Right. It's on your phone.
It's on my phone now.
Yes. Okay. Also, from your phone, can you go in and change the angle of the cameras?
No.
Okay, so they're fixed, but you can manually change the angles.
You can manually change them.
Okay.
Physically.
Can you be on, if you know this, can you be on like a WhatsApp or a messaging app simultaneous, again, to having your live feed up watching your cameras?
So just to clarify, make sure I don't say incorrectly, you can have the app running, and then you can switch over to WhatsApp and then come back again to the app.
Okay.
Without having to close it, relaunch and all that.
And then this app, this IDMSS app, is it complicated to download?
No, just very simple.
No more questions.
Thank you.
Mr. Jones.
Just briefly on it. Just to clarify, Mr. Kine, you were shown an email that sent the instructions just to Monica. Remember that?
Yes.
Do you remember that there was then an email sent a little bit later on the same day that sent instructions to both Monica and Fabio?
Yes.
Just to show you, Your Honour, I have my own defence packet of correspondence with First Digital. They may be marked Exhibit 611, Defence Exhibit 611.
Yes.
It is 12 pages. Showing you, Mr. Khan, Defence Exhibit 611, page 9. This is the sort of mystery that hasn't been mentioned yet, that is 12:50 p.m. the same day. Is the instructions correct?
That is correct.
And this is sent to both Monica and Fabio, right?
Yes.
Okay. You send the proposal before you go to the site, correct? You send a proposal for what you're offering.
After I close.
After you said, okay, that's fine. And as part of that proposal, it talks about having remote access, correct?
Yes.
And so it was part of this installation that you were doing that remote access would be offered, right?
That is correct.
And as you said, that is a common and popular thing that is asked for. Correct?
It is.
Right, thank you very much. No further questions.
Anything further about other people?
No.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. You're excused.
Thank you, sir.
People may call the next witness.
Look, we have another one this morning, right?
That's called the tap dance. I did it a lot when I was a lawyer. Anyway, we'll take our lunch recess now until 1:30. The admission applies not to discuss this case either among yourselves or with anyone else or form or express any opinions of the cause. Just find it submitted to you. Have a good lunch. See you at 1:30.
And that concludes the morning session of California versus Monica Sementilli, and we saw the afternoon session. So we are officially caught up. We are officially caught up. So thank you to Mel Stiller. Thank you for joining us. You are a new subscriber. Thank you so much. Mel, here, this is for new subscribers. This is my sidekick. That's Super Ball. So new subscribers get to see Super Ball. All right, so let's recap. Let's recap what has happened. Let's see. Do I have anything to pull up? Hold on a sec here. I took some screenshots. Let me just see if there's. Let's see. So let's see, just the home, the fixed cameras. Okay, yeah, just really the fixed cameras showed where the cameras were. So let's pull that up. All right, so this is where the cameras were placed. Now, I'm assuming, okay, so the garage is to the right. So that's where you, right, yeah, okay, so the garage is to the right. So you pull up into the driveway to our bottom right. Is that? Oh, no, wait. Okay, that's somebody else's house. Okay, I got it now. So so the far right, kind of to the bottom red, those are cars. So that's their garage. So they've got straight out of the garage, coming in that angle, then over there going to the back, and then they also have one looking at the driveway. Okay, I gotcha. All right, so we heard from Sean Kahn, who is the security and surveillance camera installer. His company is First Digital Surveillance, and when he came back from the break, he showed Monica how to access the feed via the app. He tested all the cameras, so there's 4 cameras. So there are the 4 cameras, plus there was one at the intercom. So they had a gate leading into the driveway. That was the 5th camera. There's a text from Monica on June 28th of 2016 saying, I can't connect with my iPhone. I went to the support page, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, I'll send you on to, he sent her on to another technician. Then he talked about the data spikes, or data. He testified before a grand jury. And then also, can you forward the login info? And he said yes. So they're trying to make it. Well, the data spikes are from live streaming. So she said, well, we haven't heard her defense yet, but the state is saying that she was on her phone at the Target and then at, I think it was Ralph's, because she was picking up food for the evening for dinner, that she was on her phone. I mean, there's pictures of her, literally on her phone while she's holding her phone. And it's interesting, Aaron brought this up. She was holding her phone like this, right? Well, she was holding like that versus that. So if you're watching a security camera, you got your phone like this. I mean, that would be a big thing. I wish they had asked that. That would have been a really good question. Like if I was a juror, I'd be, how was she holding her phone? Was she holding it, like this, horizontal, portrait or landscape, horizontal or vertical? Because if you can only view, check it out. If you guys can only view this surveillance app like this, that would be one thing. If you can only view it like that, that would be another thing. Because that still photo of her from, I think it was in the Target, she was viewing it like this. So it was portrait mode. It was vertical. That might break the case, right? That might be a big thing. How can you view this? Does anybody have? Well, I don't have Ring, but how do you guys view Ring? Can you view it horizontal or can you do it vertical? What do you think? Pammy, yours does both? Are you replying to that? I'm not sure, because I know I'm like ahead of you guys. So I'll wait for you guys. Yes, Mel, yes. Monica was married to Fabio. He was a famous hairstylist. Yeah. Mel, if you have any questions, check out our description. We go to great lengths to write our descriptions, so check it out. If you have questions, you can also ask. I mean, I'm not saying don't ask. You can definitely ask. But if you have questions, check out our description. Let's see. Hold on. So Dreamalandry, mine does both and zoom in. Okay. So what's more convenient than my next question? Okay, Young Black Economist says it's both, but when you first open, it's vertical. Okay. So she was definitely. Oh, Dwayne, we got our second round of snow tonight. Blah, bummer. Yes, we showed Super Ball. We can show her again. There's a little Super Ball snoozing. She's my co-pilot, my partner in crime. Sweet little girl. She's all passed out. She's all passed out. So when you first, okay, so they showed Monica a couple of times. They showed her walking the store, and she had it portrait. And I think, Brat, you said you checked you can do picture in picture. So they're trying to say that the state is trying to say that Monica was viewing this. She wasn't necessarily watching the deletion of Fabio, but she was watching to see where he was. I think because there were no cameras in the backyard, but she was watching to see if he came out. She was watching to see when Baker and Austin showed up. Dwayne says, hello, sweet Super Ball. Yes, we have two other ferals. They're all feral, but Super Ball lives inside here because we moved. The other two adopted us up here, and they're Paulie and Rafa, and they're out. I can see Rafa. He's sleeping in the middle of the yard. He's such a weirdo sometimes. Oh, Lily Wayne, you're getting 20 more centimeters and 20. Okay, I had to look up centimeters the other day. Shirley was getting 15 inches. All right, what's centimeters to inches? You have to forgive my American ignorance for. So that's 7 inches. So you're going to get another 14 inches, 15 inches. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot of snow, you guys. Young Black Economist, she did that while in a store. Yeah, shake your head, huge mistake. I think she did in both stores. She did it in, well, she didn't know, right? She didn't know she was being monitored, or she didn't. Again, thank God criminals are stupid. She was, yes, there were there's definitely video, still photos of her like this. She's pushing her cart. Welcome back, therapist. Shirley Roth. That's what I heard. She was watching it go down. Except that, yeah. So she was watching to see if Baker and Austin, when they were coming, all that stuff. Nan R. I can see Ring either portrait and/or landscape on your iPhone. Okay, cool. Thanks. I had no idea. Thanks for letting me know. And Brat, there you go. 2.45, 2.54, I should say, equals 1 inch. Julia, metrics. What's that? Yeah, Mel Stiller. Snow is a 4-letter word that I abhor. Yep, shake your head. Criminals make fatal mistakes. So Mel, we have a saying, the Walmart M aisle. There's always a Walmart involved. Pick up all your supplies at the Walmart M aisle. Brett says, but the video in the stores is what gave her the alibi for not being at the house. Correct. Yeah, that was her alibi. That was her alibi for sure. Drunky the Bear, I can't imagine betraying someone after 20 years. The father of your children even. She's detestable. Well, if it's true, if it's true. Oh, Shirley, you were born on New Year's Eve. Cool. Very cool. But you hate winter. So Nan R, I can see you in the top or bottom corner and do something else at the same time. It doesn't matter what. Mel is in BC. Yeah, we have a lot of people in. We have a lot of people in our chat that are from and friends that are in Canada. We have a couple that are. We have two others not with us today right now, but we have two others that are out there near Vancouver. Lily Wayne, I wish we still did inches, feet, miles, etc. What I grew up with. Young black economist, exactly. So she even thought about the cameras, but didn't think she shouldn't have been recorded looking at Ring app. Yeah. Drunky the Bear, even if she somehow didn't do the red rum, she still was the reason her kids have no father. That is true. That is very true because, okay, that's awesome. That's an awesome thought because if she orchestrated it, then obviously she's guilty. But if she didn't orchestrate it, which is what she's claiming, it was still her because of her association with Baker. Yep. Good point. Drunky the Bear points to Drunky the Bear. Julie says, forgot, saw that earlier, silly question. Shirley Roth, she knew about it. Yep. Mel Stiller says you're actually Luso-Canadian. I wish I knew what that meant. All right, you're gonna make me search. What does Luso-Canadian mean? Portuguese? Is it your Portuguese Canadian? Did I get that right? Mel says guilt by association. Julie says, I seriously think she gave Baker and Austin access. Well, they proved it. Mr. Khan there said, can you forward the login information? Absolutely. He said yes. Portuguese, cool. I had to look that up. I had never ever heard that before, so apologies for my ignorance on that one. The more you know. We pride ourselves to be an educated, knowledgeable chat. So thank you for educating me on something that I never knew. Julie gave up on soaps in the 80s, too much drama. Fast forward to 2025, and you're watching Red Rum Trials. Who knew? You exchanged one drama for another drama. Right? That's funny. Cool. You were raised and born in the Azores. Very cool. Nice. Dreamer Landry says, thanks, wonderful mods. Let's see. Mel says, that's not ignorance, Chris. Well, I don't mean it as a put down. I'm not putting myself down. I'm just saying to not have knowledge. How about that? Thank you for expanding my knowledge. How about that? Dreamer Landry says, thank you to Aaron. Yes, thank you, Aaron. Aaron is our Trial TV Live, the Wizard of Aaron. Young black economist, all things mounting up against her, the behavior afterwards with Baker is beyond bizarre. Totally agreed. Totally agreed. Yeah, Mel, so there was a memorial a couple days after Fabio was deleted and Baker shows up and people are like, what are you doing here? And even Monica's mom told him to F off. Monica's mother said F off to him. Dream Landry, thank you. Right back at you. Shirley Roth says, thank you for everyone for being here. Yeah, 5913, you guys. We're at 5,913 subs. So again, thank you, Scott, for what you did. Appreciate it. You're using our stream, and we're happy that we streamed it and we were able to capture day one for you guys, or for whoever. And thank you for using it, and thank you for having people sub to us. That's awesome. Yes, Pammy, Aaron is the queen. Aaron is the queen. Yep, Drunky the Bear, and his hand was bandaged. Yeah, he had a finger. He cut his finger. So he stabbed Fabio, I think, 4 or 5 times, and Austin stabbed him twice. I think there were 7. I think there were 7 stab wounds. It's been a while. They've been off since Tuesday, right? Yeah, they did Monday and Tuesday, and that testimony came in like day 1, and we're on day 11. I mean, that was a long time ago. This trial is definitely long. This is a long trial. Brat dropping some knowledge. Apparently the Romans called Portugal Lusitania. Really? Hence the combining for Luso. I never heard of that. I've heard of the RMS Lusitania, yeah, which was sunk by Germany. Definitely didn't know it was named for Portugal. I didn't know that either. I mean, I knew about the boat, the Lusitania. I do remember that. Well, I don't remember it, but I remember studying that and reading that. Julie says, Portugal, fact, I have a friend that I try to stay in touch with there. We were gaming friends. Very sweet and awesome person. That's cool. In the Azores archipelago, comprised of 9 volcanic islands in the, I'm not going to get this right, Macaronesia region of the North Atlantic Ocean. I know the Azores just because of the hurricanes that come off Africa, and they always talk about, you see the map and you always see the Azores. So that's where, and I love maps. I'm a huge fan of maps, and I just love maps. So I always did well at geography. Ken Rosenberg, see how no one's thanking you, Trial TV bot. It's because you're so mean. I never wanted you to be my Valentine anyway. Ken, that's funny. Yeah, I'm sorry, Butterfly Dana. It's so sad. I have my niece's wife, my nephew's wife. He's passed on, and he had a dog that I met, and they're gonna have to. She now is gonna have to put him down next Friday. So it's sad. It's always sad. Brad asked the 8-ball, did you know the Lusitania was named after Portugal? Drum roll. Trial TV bot says, are you joking? That's funny. That is funny. All right, guys, I think I'm going to call it a day and night and all that good stuff. Thank you for watching. This was day 11. We caught up. We are now officially caught up with Monica. We can start fresh on Tuesday. Everybody comes back on Tuesday. We got to figure out what to do. We got the rose petal trial, and then we've got Monica. Wow, decisions. What do we do, you guys? What do we do? I do not want to miss Austin or Baker. Well, Baker's going to be on defense for sure. Austin is going to be on the state. Oh, man, I don't want to miss that. But I don't want to miss the rose petal one either. So Aaron and I have some decisions to make over the weekend. Serious decisions to make. I mean, we could do rose petal in the morning and then Sementilli in the afternoon. I don't know. We got some serious decisions to make. Therapist wants rose petal. Aw. Thank you, Shirley. Right back at you. So Monday we are going to be. Erin's put together this really cool thing for Monday. She's found a lot of upcoming trials. And so Erin put together about 6 or 7 hours worth of upcoming trials. So we're going to do that on Monday. So definitely check us out Monday. We'll be live around 9. Butterfly Dana, thank you for catching up with this trial rose petal for me. Rose petal, I know everybody's invested in the rose petal. All right. Well, we'll cross that bridge on Monday. So we're going to be live Monday. Court's off, right? Because it's President's Day. So court is off here in the States. So we will be doing upcoming trials. Erin put together, I don't know how many, 10 trials that are coming up. And some of them are really crazy. There's this one she found where this guy has like multiple wives and they look like they're like 15 years old. And he asked one of them to bury his wife. I mean, it's just really, really crazy. Oh, Erin, okay, before you guys leave, Erin has a poll. Which do you want to continue to watch, Sementilli or Hughes? You guys pick. Yes, we will be streaming live on Monday. We are going to be streaming live on Monday. We're not going to be doing any catch-up because we're already caught up. And we're going to look forward. We're going to not look back. We're going to look forward, and we're going to see what is coming up for the year. So new chat. There's a poll. Which do you want to watch? I'm really torn. I think Hughes is going to end. Well, state rested. First of all, the state rested. Let's not forget that. So the state did rest. So that means we're going to hear defense. Now the state had, how many witnesses did the state pull out? State pulled out 31 witnesses. So the defense may only have like 1 or 2. We may be done by closing arguments may be done on Monday or Tuesday. So maybe Sementilli, maybe, yeah. Yeah, we're caught up on Hughes and no court on Monday. So Tuesday, all right, looks like Hughes, looks like it's rose petal, you guys. And Monday is President's Day here in the United States. That is true. All right, guys, everybody be safe. Brad, at this rate, Sementilli could take years. Hughes is going quickly. Agreed. Didn't I say President's Day? I thought I said it. I know it is, but did I say something else? I know it's President's Day, so hopefully I did say that. All right, so on that, please join us Monday. We will be not streaming live courts because court here in the U.S. is off for President's Day. And we are looking forward to trials that are coming up this year. Erin put together a playlist, so we're going to be going through those. And yeah, join us. We'll probably start at like 9. I think we'll start at 9. And we'll go until like 5 or so. I did say President's Day. Okay, cool. Thank you. Good. Thank you, Mel. Thank you, Kathy. All right. I was questioning my sanity there for a minute. Butterfly Dana, I'm not telling what I voted, but petals. Yeah, I mean, it seems like 17 votes, 71% rose petals, 29 for Sementilli. All right. The only reason I want to watch Sementilli would be for Austin's testimony and then Baker's testimony. So that's really. So we'll pick up on that. I have a feeling rose petal is going to end by like Wednesday. I think the defense is how many people can the defense pull up? So anyway, I said pianist. Yes, the pianist. All right, guys, have a great weekend. We love you guys. Have a wonderful Valentine's Day. Give your loved one a hug, and if you don't have one, here's a virtual hug. Virtual hug from me. Virtual hug. Oh, Super Ball. Here, Super Ball. Stop chewing yourself. All right, stop. Super Ball says, Happy Valentine's Day. All right, guys. We love you. Have a great one. We will see you. We'll see you on Monday. Have a great Valentine's Day and a great weekend. Bye. Oh, wait a minute. Let me come over here. All right, guys. Have a good one. Thank you to Erin. Thank you to our mods. Thank you to Julie and OnlyFan. Therapist, Hellcat, Widespread Panic, Brat. Rachel B., you were in the chat today. Florida PI Sam, if you're listening, thank you. Jules, thank you to everybody. Have a great weekend. Hug your loved one, and if you don't have one, we were sending you our virtual hugs, and Super Ball says have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. Bye.
Mm-hmm.